Hi, everybody, and greetings from Tel Aviv. Good morning to you, and thanks for joining us this morning. Hopefully by now, I hope everybody has already had their morning coffee. My name is Gidi Adlersberg, and I head product marketing and biz dev for AudioCodes VoiceAI and Voca. And today I also have the big pleasure to co-host this webinar with Yossi Zadah, VP and Business Line Manager of the AudioCodes One Voice Operations Center and Advanced Routing Manager Solutions. And in our context, Yossi is also heading product management for AudioCodes VoiceAI and Voca. But so just before we start, we can't really do a webinar these days without saying COVID at least once, right? Well, indeed, you know, COVID brought many new challenges and pain points for us all. Tons of video calls that we need to handle. And back-to-back online meetings, it's also quite a struggle, right? But if I think if there's one meme, yeah, that really tells the story, it's this one right here. So I'm sure many of you already saw it. It's a great joke, but I think especially here with an audience of so many IT people, I'm sure you all feel it just as we do, and it's real. You know, digital transformation is really, honestly, you know, it's really picking up during this time. And another thing that really picked up during these COVID times, it's digital transformation overall, but it's also, you know, zooming into phone calls. They've been increasing a lot during COVID. So look at these numbers from Accenture. We have almost 60% more people getting customer service from a phone line during these days. And we see the same increase in the amount of people who go to their phone as a first choice for customer service. But actually, that was always the case with phone calls, even before COVID. So this is a report that Microsoft releases each and every year about the communication habits of consumers. And this is a graph that shows the top communication, the preferred communication channels for consumers when they need customer service. And we can see that even way before the COVID times, people, you know, when they need customer service, they just pick up the phone and want to be served over a phone call. And that's a trend that we see for many years in the past and many years probably to follow. But what actually happens when we as, you know, consumers actually pick up the phone and call up a company? Usually what we get is an IVR. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term, IVR stands for interactive voice response. And it's that, you know, good old menu that invites you to press 1 for that, press 2 for that, press 3 for that. And apparently, you know, each and every one of us probably, you know, has some opinion about those systems. But here's our collective opinion about it. So this is a Vonage survey based on US consumers. And we can see that so many people say that IVR makes for a poor experience, which is, you know, poor is quite a strong word, right? And if we look at the feelings that are behind it, we can see quite a lot of negative feelings out there and a lot of frustration. And when we want to understand where this frustration is coming from, it's exactly the same, you know, frustrations that each and every one of us feel when, you know, engaging with the system. So I can tell you, I was not surprised when I saw this. 65% of people say that they're afraid the reason they're calling for might not be listed in the menu. And so many people think that they're forced to listen to irrelevant options. Sometimes we just want to speak with an agent, and that this, you know, IVR really blocks us from doing that. And also the menus are long, and sometimes we need to navigate in submenus and repeat our choice. So overall, a pretty tiring and tedious experience of working with an IVR. Now, what happens when we take this IVR experience and we move it to a voice-driven experience? Two very cool things happen. One thing is that all of a sudden, you as the company that is serving the customers, you don't need to choose a limited amount of destinations to make accessible to your callers. So since you are working with voice, you're no longer limited by 10 digits that are used for an IVR, for the classic IVR. And so you can fit in as many destinations as you'd like in a voice interface. And another very cool thing that happens is that we let the callers, all of a sudden the callers become very specific about what they actually need and where they need to get to. So a typical, a specific choice that before a voice interface was not even apparent to the caller, all of a sudden when you ask the caller, how can I help you? You let the caller be very, very specific about what they need. And that's a good thing because it means they can get really quickly to where it is that they need to. These very cool advantages of moving to a voice experience on the main line, completely automated, is aside to the obvious perk of providing a very friendly and intuitive way of letting people just talk and focus, on talking, which is what you would expect to be doing on a phone call. And Voca, indeed, we are here to talk about Voca. So Voca is a conversational IVR that comes with a built-in voice interface to handle all of these incoming calls from customers, figure out their request, and get it to the right place, whether it be departments, contact persons, branches, or even automating general information requests. I will get more into that soon. We just put Voca on your main line and let the caller just say what it is that they need, and we get the call to the right place. Of course, Voca also supports DTMF. So as a fallback, we can always ask the caller to press digits if we weren't sure what it is that they really need, or if we see that they struggle for some reason with the system. So it's voice driven, but you always have the DTMF as a fallback. And the good thing with Voca is that it's very, very flexible and very, very easy to customize. So it comes with an out-of-the-box basic experience that runs very smoothly in a very short time. Yossi will talk about that later on. But anything you would like to do from a very basic to a more complex and rich call flow, all that is possible with Voca quite easily using the web management interface, which we will show later on. And that obviously includes the different voice announcements and prompts, the content for voice recognition lists, all of that completely self-managed and easily self-managed through the Voca web management interface. And another thing to note about Voca, it's not only good for your external callers. If you have internal users that are working on the field or maybe just on the go wanting to make a phone call, with Voca, they just have an easy way of getting a call out, having this one number that through that number, they can just say whatever it is that they need and get a call out internally. So a great experience for your customers and external users, but definitely also a very handy experience for the internal users. So in Voca, we have a built-in set of IVR elements that come right out of the box. So we did a lot of work already for you. And I'm talking about things like handle calls differently by different working hours, support different aliases that people may use. So in this example, we have someone saying tech support. We would know they actually meant technical support if that's how you register that in your database. We would know to trigger automatically a question about a sub-department in case the user needs to further navigate down the menu. You don't need to configure that. That happens automatically. We can also steer calls to contact Office extension or mobile device. And when we have duplicate names, we would handle those automatically. We would even know to hunt a contact person through different devices. So if you called up and you need a contact person and they're not answering on their Office extension, Voca will know to transfer this call automatically to their mobile. Of course, in the branch experience, supporting sub-branch navigation and aliases for branches as well. And as I briefly mentioned, automate general information requests that might come using either a text message or a voice announcement. I will show more about that later on. And a key part of the Voca solution, in the heart of the Voca solution actually, is the web management interface. And what's great about the web management interface is that all of the management and configuration of the service is done from here, as well as a very rich analytics section, which I will show in the next slide. And the good thing about this backend is that obviously when we deploy Voca, we do it with IT. But the great thing is that IT, once the system is up and running, can hand it off to people outside of the IT department. So you definitely don't need to be any tech expert to manage Voca and to optimize it and to configure it further. And that's a great thing, especially in these days. You know, we talked a bit about digital transformation, and IT departments are so busy these days. So here is a management tool that can really be operated by anybody who can read and write, pretty much, up to the degree of you know, adding new terms for the speech recognition with simple free text, unlimited entries for the speech recognition content, and as I mentioned, a very rich analytics section, which gives you, you know, all the details that you need about, you know, your peak times, the number of channels you're using, what kind of how many people requested department X, how many people requested contact X, and this goes down all the way to the degree of actually being able to listen to what users, to how users are engaging with the system. So here we would, you know, if there's a call that wasn't handled properly, we would, you know, it would be very easy to go in here, see what the caller said, and just cover it over free text, hit the save button, and it works. So a very strong management interface, but at the same time, very, very easy to use. I will now pass the ball to Yossi to talk about our voice recognition technology and the Voca deployment process.
Hi, this is Yossi. Happy to be here with you today. By the way, I am located in Jerusalem, not Tel Aviv. I'm in the Holy City. So, as Gidi says, that we in AudioCode, we have our own voice recognition technology and engine. It's a choice to do that, okay? Because there are so many engines today in the cloud with AI, with all the big players has their own voice recognition. However, our own engine is based on state-of-the-art capabilities. It is very, very accurate, and I will say why it's so accurate, and par with all the big voice recognition players. Our accuracy is 95% and above. And one of the advantages that you own the voice recognition is that you can, of course, deploy it in the cloud, on premise, VM, hardware, and then I will talk about it later, how exactly we're actually making it a complete solution with other AudioCode products as well. And other things that I can say that because we are owning the technology, we have a very well unique terminology. I mean that things like contact names, product names, brand names, branches, we have, you know, the hands on the wheel. We can really guide our own engine to work well with those custom terms. I mean that all the close grammar or close vocabulary, this is our game. We are expert in that. We have trained our engine to work with so many closed grammars, so we are getting almost 100% accuracy most of the time. Our technology today natively supports English US, Spanish, German, of course Hebrew, but I don't know how many of you is interested in Hebrew. For additional languages support, we are using the Azure Speech Cognitive Services, and we can get extra languages coverage. Lately, we have added the English UK as well. Next slide, please. You know, in the last 26 years, we are, you can call us the city plumbers. We can connect anything to everything. We are active in all the telephony scenes, you name it, all the segments, all the verticals, contact centers, service providers, enterprises, IPv6s, analogs, UC platform, all the UC platforms, and of course, contact centers as well. So we have actually hands everywhere. And this can assist a lot to Voca, and then I will explain in a few minutes how exactly, I will give the Teams example, how exactly the fact that we have our leading direct routing SBC with Teams helps connecting Voca easily to Teams. In terms of voice prompt and announcement, we also have you covered with there as well. We have pre-recorded voice prompt recorded professionally and ready to go out of the box prompts as well. Of course, that you can always customize your own experience and use your own prompts, or even record them on demand from within Voca. And finally, you can even use our own TTS, okay, text-to-speech engine, if you don't want to work with recordings as well. And we have an excellent TTS, which actually, it's like a human voice. Of course, we are connected to our Active Directory to get all the users' information and other information as the security groups and other information about users that you can use. And if you are not connected to Active Directory, everything can be loaded by using a CSV file or any other way that you can get information about permissions and user information that you can use in order to do all the reports that Gidi shows before. As aforementioned, since we can deploy on-premise, we are fully secured. I mean that there are verticals that don't want their voice go to the cloud, so we are using several encryption methods along with the signal path and of course GDPR compliance. And again, I would like to emphasize that we at AudioCodes are, as I said, we are the expert with closed grammar, closed vocabulary, and we have trained our voice recognition system in the last 10 years to recognize names, departments, and everything, and that's makes our system different, much more accurate than any other system in the market. Next, please. So, as I said before, you can deploy Voca from the cloud, VM, with the own AudioCode hardware as well, with the SBC. And then to connect it to the telephony, you can use all our portfolio. I mean that our SBC, our gateways, hardware SBC, virtual SBC, and even the Voca appliance with an SBC all in one piece of hardware. Our Mediant 800, of course, has an OSN, and on that we are running our applications, and Voca is one of the applications that we are running on the OSN included in the Mediant 800 or any other SBC that has the option to have OSN. However, if you would like to Voca, I mean that however you would like the Voca, so you have all the options, the Voca and the SBCs. And finally, as I mentioned, you can connect to this we can connect to anything, to the UC, Teams, IPBX, analog PBX, contact centers, even directly to a SIP trunk. You can connect us easily. And lately, you have added the WebRTC integration. I mean that Gidi mentioned it before, that you can have a click to call to get to the Voca easily, and you can see that sign there in the left rectangle. The real beauty is that once you know how you would like the Voca to be deployed for you, it's a matter of one day to get it ready, already up and running. We really have so many built-in features helping you to get the Voca to work out of the box. Of course, you can do any kind of customization, advanced configuration later on, but definitely no project. It is not weeks of projects. This is a true out-of-the-box product that can go live quickly. Next, please. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Teams. I said that you can connect to any system, but usually what takes time for us is to do the qualification and to learn from the other side what is exactly the information that you would like to get about the contact center or the IPBX or the PBX, and sometimes even the IT in the other side doesn't know that. And so we have to go there and take the information how exactly to connect. And as you know, our SBC can connect with everything. However, when it comes to Teams, it gets much more easier. Why? Because our own SBCs, they're our own direct routing SBCs, part of Teams. And then you have an SBC which is connected to Voca. It's a streamlining of connection. I mean that with a simple pre-built script that we have, few clicks, and Voca is connected to the direct routing SBC. It's kind of, instead of having two SBCs, you have a single SBC. All the connection is automated, of course, and as Gidi showed before, and you have all the reports, all the analytic tools to improve the recognition rate. Everything is in the Voca with Teams. It's kind of single pane of glass of management of your IVR. Next, please. The Voca actually is one of the Teams. It's one of the Teams user, and you can put it as a speed dial. You can call it from Teams to call any other site, any other departments in your organization, any team member that you would like with voice. You don't have to dial to anyone. Everything is in Teams as part of Teams. Okay, next slide, please. And let's go a little bit more technical. As you can see here, we have the direct routing. Okay, we have our own SBC here in the left side, the customer, the RSBC, and you have Voca outside. Now, when you get a call into your organization, comes to the direct routing SBC, the SBC routing table is pre-configured that every call that goes to the the Voca doesn't have to go to Teams. It goes directly to be, to do the extra routing. Okay, we have kind of here and the serial routing. First, you have the SBC routes to the Voca. Voca gets the voice recognition, understand to whom in the organization you would like to direct the call, refer to the SBC, and the SBC goes directly to Teams, and then Teams, to where actually to direct the call according to the information that it gets from the Voca. Okay, so it's so easy. It's kind of extraterritorial application, but it's part of Teams. And every time that you would like to call to someone in your organization, in the organization itself, again, Teams directs the call to the SBC, to Voca, then you get the Voca, you can do your IVR, the voice recognition, then you get the number that you have to call internally, and it goes again into the organization. I mean that it's part of Teams, easily connected. We can do that in few hours to connect Teams, to connect Voca to Teams. In further versions, we are going to you will be able to configure Teams from the App Store in Teams. And not only that, to see all the GUI of Voca in Teams itself. Next slide, please. Back to you, Gidi.
Yes, thank you, Yossi, for that. So we're reaching towards the end. We thought it would be cool to show you. We want to give a glance of two brand new features that we have within Voca that we believe are quite cool. So one of them is for the case of general information requests. So imagine that you have a caller that just needs an address, or needs opening hours, or any other type of general information. Well, what we've done in Voca, this is, by the way, this is a new UI that we're doing, that we're launching in the next version. So what you see here is how you would configure a specific department to be handled. In this case, it's the customer support department, which is under the parent department support. And I did see a question about prompts that I answered to, and Yossi covered it as well, but just to close the loop, here is where you would either record right from Voca a prompt, or of course upload any recorded prompt that you already have, or just use our default built-in prompts. But we're here to talk about general information automation. So in this case, we might have someone that just needs to get opening hours, right? So one thing we can do is to play a voice prompt in exchange to that request. So we don't really need to transfer this call to an agent that spells out the opening hours. We would play a prompt that says something like, thank you for contacting customer support. Our opening hours are so-and-so. Another really cool thing that we can do is to automate and send out a text message. So you would just choose the action, send SMS, and literally easy as typing that text message. And that's it. This message will be sent to anyone who's asking for opening hours within customer support. So just to illustrate the different options that we are now providing to automate general information requests, and we saw this need from many of our customers. Another cool and brand new feature that we are adding, that we've added actually, is an integration between WebRTC technology to Voca. So for those of you who are not familiar with WebRTC, WebRTC would be the way to make a call right from within your web browser, rather than having to use your phone to make a phone call. So just to illustrate this further, this is the Contact Us section in the AudioCodes website. And let's say I came in here and I wanted to make a call to the headquarters I would be able to just literally click the button from within the website and reach Voca. And there will be the conversational IVR that will ask me, what is it exactly that I need? And of course, the good thing about it is that it's completely seamless for the user. They're sitting in front of the web browser, and we would like them to stay in the browser. The brands want them to stay, and the companies want them to stay in the company website. So here's a very useful way of keeping them there and providing them with their favorite communication channel.
May I say one
Yes.
comment? That
Sure.
the fact that you are using WebRTC, it's very, very important for voice recognition, because WebRTC uses Opus, managed Opus, and excellent quality. And when you get an excellent quality to your voice engine, of course, the recognition rates goes up immediately. So this is another advantage that you have when using WebRTC. And the WebRTC quality is great, really. Sometimes even greater than a lot of applications that you are using along the day. This is a great advantage that you can have it, the voice quality, actually.
Thanks, Yossi. That was indeed an important one. And last thing that we wanted to emphasize with the Voca and WebRTC is that obviously you could have, multiple instances of this button, but associated to different services within your website. So if you have, a sales section, a support section, and so on, you could direct the click to call button to reach the relevant place within the IVR, within Voca, to provide the user with the experience that they need in context to the page that they're looking at right now. And lastly is that, of course, this button is completely, any branding or design, graphic design, different graphic design that the customer might want. Of course, that's something that we support. And just to open your mind a bit, think about, if you went to an e-commerce website and had a click to call button, surely so many people would find it that useful. And also when you have the classic case of, sometimes you want to figure out something for in a store. And yeah, when I see something like this, actually, I'm thinking of so many people, especially elderly population, right? That needs to dig for the right phone number, copy to their phone. And it's just, everything becomes so much easier when you just have that click to call button right there. And when it's connected
Gidi,
to Voca,
I am an old guy, so please don't talk about us.
It will make it easy for you, Yossi, as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but really, it's just so handy to have this. People want to talk, and this is just a very easy way of letting them talk from wherever they are. Yeah, so we try to keep things interesting and short as a result. We just want to end this webinar with a brand new video case study that we did together with Concord School District. So I'm gonna play the video, just bear with me.
Concord School District is in a small city in New Hampshire. We have roughly 5,000 students when you include our technical center. We have a career and technical center, and we have 7 school buildings. We have about 1,000 more or less staff members, the technology director and the information security officer. So we had a pretty typical auto attendant type of menu on the system. We found that the admin interface wasn't super friendly, so it was a bit of a struggle to reprogram and make changes to it in a school district. I have 6 IT people, so in the whole district. So 6 IT people are covering an organization this size. We have to be really efficient with our time, and things that are clunky or hard to use are just really difficult for us. we actually started converting from ShoreTel to Skype for Business, and we tested Voca, I realized all of a sudden that I'm putting myself in the mindset of a parent, and I'm a parent. My kids are in a different district, but every time I'm calling that school, I'm in the car. And so I'm thinking through, and it's really frustrating because I always have to press numbers to get anywhere. And I'm thinking through, like, this is not very safe. You know, schools need voice attendance because, you know, it's just not safe for parents or students to be calling their schools while they're driving and having to press numbers. So Voca kind of served that, provided that solution for us. Hopefully we'll find that parents find it safer to use, and we'll be able to make our administrative assistants more efficient. So again, we don't have a lot of staff, and our administrative assistants are super busy. So if we can provide parents with and community members with a better experience, but also make our employees' jobs more streamlined, I think that will help a lot. So, and our languages are unusual. So we have Nepalese, Kinyarwanda, you know, really some unusual languages in our district that aren't usually picked up by systems that do translations. So that was a big part of my criteria too, was thinking about if you're not a native English speaker and you're calling in, can the system sort of support you and help you through it? I like the training aspect of Voca a lot, where we can start to train different pronunciations as we go. What I love about the interface is the way the receptionist can watch the failures, and that's something we did during testing. I was able to go in, and I only sort of briefly touch systems. I sort of, I'm very superficial when I look at systems. I don't have the time to dive in like my crew does. And so somebody was testing it, and I was able to go in and figure out very quickly how to see the tests and see what went wrong each time. So I found it very easy to use. If I can, with the number of tools and systems that we have and the number of things we support, and the way every single department in the district is moving towards more and more and more software, the more I can sort of take a system and hand it off to somebody. We implement it, but now you're in charge of it. So if I can handle, I don't answer phones. So if I can hand it to the people who are answering the phones and they can do the training of the system and it's easy enough, then that's a win for us because that's less time for us to support it. AudioCodes has been wonderful to work with. Ever since the beginning of our project, they really have just, some of the products we didn't buy, but AudioCodes has just given us so much time and so much hand-holding, and it's been really fantastic. I don't think we could have done this project without them. The support just makes me feel really good about the company. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Pam. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one then. Bye-bye.
Okay, so thank you again, everybody, for joining us today, and wish you a good day. Any questions that you have, more than welcome to reach out to us. We'll be happy to reply. Thanks a lot, and wish you a very good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.